Let us now go here, click here, and you're logging in? Okay, cool. And I will share our screen with the audience. Boom. There we are. There's these two good-looking guys. Hello, YouTube. Welcome. We are so excited to come to you today. We're running a little late. Hope you don't mind. We've been practicing our social
distancing. Where's the tape measure?
Oh, it's on the floor.
Oh, or at least 6 inches, isn't that? Yeah.
6 feet.
Wow.
Folks, we've been covering for the last few weeks, we've been talking about how to apply for the EIDL. We've been talking about how to apply for the PPP. I mean, that information is out there. Everybody is up to speed. And if you haven't applied for it, you need to. I heard a report that of the 360,000, or not 360,000, $360 billion that was available, already 260 billion of it is already out. Only 100 billion left, and that was last night. That was last night.
So. That's a lot. And that's not even including the applications that are in process.
And a little update as well. Stephen Mnuchin, the Secretary of the Treasury, he's been asking Congress to increase the amount. And so the senators and the Senate have asked just for a straight, let's double it. Let's throw another 300 billion into it, right? And apparently there's fighting between the House of Representatives because they want to throw in a whole bunch of new stuff for hospitals and stuff like that.
Absolutely.
But that's going to take time. They're not even in session right now. So what the Senate wants to do is just say, let's rubber stamp it. Let's just agree to an increase. And the House of Representatives is saying, let's come up with a completely new bill, which, takes months or weeks at the very least. So people are hurting now. I would say that we need to actually start thinking about how to thrive during and after the coronavirus right now. Because I don't think, my personal feelings is, whether you're a Republican or a Democrat, you really can't trust the people in Washington, D.C. to have your best interest at heart. And if you're going to sit back and wait for all of this to go away and everything to one day go back to normal, I think you're in for a big shock. What really needs to happen, I think, Ray, and you can speak to this, is I think people need to take initiative and create their own economies. I think people need to stop waiting for the government to take action and fix things, and people need to take action and fix it themselves. What do you say to that?
I absolutely agree with that. I've always been a strong believer in just your ability to accomplish, your ability to survive is dependent on you. I grew up with a lot of folks with the entitlement mentality. Is that the best way to put it? Where a lot of the people that I grew up with feel that everything should be handed to them. And
are you a millennial?
I am. And they look at, and since we've been working so hard, and I was talking to my grandma about this the other day. So my grandmother, her and her husband had built businesses over 50, 60 years that were very successful. And she said, well, so Ray, you're an overnight success now. And I said, yeah, overnight success for sure. All of those over the night workings, where don't come home until 5 o'clock in the morning, putting out maybe advertising, roadside signs, and working 20 hours a day. That's what an overnight success looks like. They literally worked for years overnight to become a success.
You're talking about when people get into business because they don't want to work full days. They only want to work half days, right?
I guess I'm just crazy enough to work 80 hours for myself, where I would drive me nuts working 40 for somebody else.
Well, people don't realize that a half day for a business owner is 12 hours. A full day's work is 24.
But that's the thing, is it doesn't necessarily feel like work if you find something that you're passionate about.
Absolutely.
And that's what we really encourage folks to do. Maybe real estate's not your thing, maybe whatever it is, you can turn it into a business. I know somebody that they have a passion for hunting. And so every single year they go on this hunting trip. And what they do is they get up all their buddies together. He takes all the funds, he goes and buys everything, and then they go on this trip. And I looked at him, I said, well, did you realize you already have a business there? Just funnel it now through a business, and there you go. Turn what you're already doing into a business.
Is that Dan?
Oh, his name is John. He goes to my church.
Oh, my mentor, Dan, he does that too.
Oh, Dan, really?
Yeah.
I did not know that.
Yeah.
You know what? That's probably where I originally heard it. I probably heard Dan telling me at Applebee's that he does that. And then I went and told somebody else, because isn't that the way it works? We all learn from everybody else. I've listened to Joseph and then I go implement, or I've heard it from somebody else and now I'm sharing it with you folks.
You hang around people long enough, they're going to drag you into, like you're hanging out with us long enough and we're dragging you into what? Starting a business, right? That's the best thing to do. Okay, so let's talk about, here's our business, Wise Guys and Ties. And what is Wise Guys and Ties? Well, we're wise in the ways of helping you build, start, and grow a business and helping you have the tools necessary to succeed so that you can achieve whatever your God-given purpose is in life. And so while we talk about business credit, business finance, we talk about credit banking, that's personal finance. We help people. I mean, we're even, sometimes we have to go into the realm of credit repair, and it's crazy all the things that come up when we just simply want to help people with the concept and the idea of find what you're passionate about, like what you said, and build a business around it so that you'll never work a day in your life, but you'll create your own economy that you can control. Right. So let's dive into what we're talking about today. So right now we're in the crisis, right? We're all sheltered and hunkered down here. That's where we're at. But what's next? Well, when the government says, hey, everything's opened up, is everybody rushing to the movie theaters? Is everyone going to go to the restaurants? Are you all going to come and sit next to me at a baseball game?
I don't know. I just don't see it happening that quickly.
I think that some people are ready to just go back. And like you saw, I don't know if you watched the news, there were all these kids on spring break and they didn't, I don't care, and they all just went to the beach.
Right.
I think there's a segment of society that doesn't care and will try to go back to things as usual. There's also another part of the culture, like there's different cultures, a counterculture. We are actually creating a whole new culture where things have changed and people have adapted. I mean, we've been in this lockdown for 29 days. Welcome to day 29 of being stuck in your home watching YouTube video after YouTube video. All right, so there's going to be a readjustment. Some people aren't going to be ready to just go run out to the restaurant or go interact with people like they used to, and other people are going to be fine. So there's going to be two kind of, like I said, two cultures, and one will create eventually a new reality. How are people adapting? Businesses are adapting and changing, and people are adapting and changing. There's going to be a new norm when this is done. What do you say to that?
Absolutely. I mean, adaptability is the name of the game. And now I'm going to throw a little curveball at you right now. Blue-footed booby birds.
Blue-footed booby birds?
Blue-footed booby birds. They're on the Galapagos Islands. Now, what happened to these? These were not natural water fishers. And these birds have adapted over time, and now they're some of the best water fisher birds in the world. And then so it always goes back to when their food supply shriveled up, they had to adapt and survive. Other species have gone extinct.
Yes.
Extinct.
You have good instincts.
Good instincts
to think about extinct.
You don't need to be able to speak to run a business. That's a beautiful part. But the great thing is just being able to adapt. And so that's what we're going to talk about today, is adapting to the situation. How are we transitioning, moving hard onto the online platforms? And this is exactly what you're talking about, the new reality. Buying has changed. People are cooking at home now. Restaurants are kind of changing. Delivery's changing.
You talk about adapting. I've never been in the military, and I love all of our listeners that are part of the military. Thank you for your service. I'm inspired by what you do. I'm a very patriotic American. But one of the Marine mantras is to improvise, adapt, and overcome. Because when you go into your battle, right, the battle plan is you know what you're going to do, And about like what, 10 minutes into the battle, everything's changed.
Absolutely.
And so if you're going to win, you have to have the ability to read the lay of the land and see what's shifting and adapt and overcome new challenges, because you know that's just what's happening. And that's what's happening here. So let's talk about what's happening here. I was talking with our broker today, and he was recommending this book called Blue Ocean. Create Your Own Blue Ocean. I have not read this book, and I actually put it in my Audible account. I'm gonna definitely check this out. But if you're wondering what we're talking about, I'm putting it on the screen. There's this book that, and this just came from my broker, who was recommending that you check this out. It's a marketing strategy about how to create brand new markets. So when you right now have a business, or you're thinking about getting in a business, and there's all these, and it's a crowded field, and like say I want to get into real estate. Well, there's all these other realtors, or there's all these other investors. If you learn how to create your own niche in your own market, then the whole ocean, instead of being crowded with boats and being in shipping lanes, you have a clear blue ocean in front of you that you can go anywhere you want, because you're the only boat on the ocean. So that's kind of the theory behind that. You were on the call.
Yeah,
with
absolutely. That's really what I gathered from it. There's so much opportunity.
Perfect. All right. So here's a couple of pictures of this is so incredible. So in the neighborhood, there's a local shop, the cupcake, the what was it, the sugar, I forget, I can't see, my eyes are so horrible. But anyway, it's like sugar designer or the sugar baker, I forget what it was. But I just thought this was really cool, and this was what a friend shared with me. In their neighborhood, people used to go to the local, you'd go to the store, and you might go to the store, and there's other shops there, like a bakery, a salon, place to get your hair, but they're all shut down. Well, here is a local bakery, a cupcake shop. They make cupcakes, pastries, donuts. And instead of just sitting on, cowering at home, waiting for everything to open that back up, they took their catering truck and like
Turned into like an ice cream truck.
yeah, I mean, there's no song playing or anything, but I mean, what was cool is my friend told me just the other day, like his daughter came up to him and says, "Daddy, Daddy, Daddy, the cupcake truck is here." And he's like, "I've never heard of this." A cupcake truck. But think about this. This lady has created her own blue ocean, because now she's being able to create revenue, and she's driving into neighborhoods, and if you think about it from a marketing standpoint, she's learning which neighborhoods respond, you see pictured here, there's actually a longer line, but people are socially distancing. But I mean, she sold out of all of her cupcakes in just a few hours.
Great idea.
But think about that. How many people have shops that they just had to shut down, and they're just sitting and waiting and hoping that the PPP comes through, or the EIDL, those SBA programs? And everybody's just waiting for things to go back to normal. Well, when things do go back to normal, what do you think this cupcake lady's going to do? Is she just going to go back to her shop, or do you think she'll continue the neighborhood? You get what I'm saying? She's already proven that she can thrive and succeed during the middle of this crisis, because she created her own blue ocean, and she's going to be way ahead of the competition. I just think that that's amazing. I want to share. I'm trying to get little neurons to fire in your brain and give people ideas and encouragement and hope.
I wish I could make some
cupcake. I want a cupcake right now. So innovate or die, right? If you don't change, because I mean, if you go back just even recent history, we went through the Great Recession. And people in real estate in our field, if you didn't change and adapt, and you were stuck in, I'm only going to do this type of strategy, then when the market shifted, like I was in short sales, and then the market got better, and now the short sales went away. Well, you've got to change. And then when things were down, it was easy to do fix and flips. But then when the market got hot, it was time to switch to a buy and hold or a multifamily strategy. And so you've got to innovate. And these are things that we practice and that we do. And sometimes we just, we were talking, we just do this. Like we're already on top of, we've transitioned a lot of we do a lot of local trainings, and we meet with a lot of groups, but that's gone away. So we've We started months ago transitioning everything to an online format. We've created more articles, and we're writing a couple of books right now.
Absolutely.
I mean, we've already been shifting and making a shift, but we were thinking about you out there. And so many of you, we've been getting feedback from folks who are just sitting there waiting. And I'm thinking to myself, why?
Yeah, especially with technology at the fingertips.
All right, so here's a list of a couple of things that we're noticing, that we're seeing. These are things that we were talking about. So we saw that cupcake company. Now, doctors, I have a doctor. I got sick. Okay, I don't know if I got the coronavirus or anything, but I was sick and I needed to see a doctor. But I just needed a prescription, is all I needed. So I just did that whole tele view thing. Have you heard of that in the news? Where I could just phone in and FaceTime my doctor and then let him like scan, my body, check my vitals, and as best I could. Like I checked my own pulse, and but I did a virtual appointment.
Virtual walkthrough.
But here's what's cool. My appointment was at 1 o'clock, and I actually met with my doctor FaceTime at 1 o'clock. But think about when you go to the doctor,
amazing.
you got to drive to the doctor, you sit and you wait, and then you're like, those other people that are sick, and you're like, if you have a turtleneck, you're like pulling it up over your mouth, right? But now, I mean, think about how many more patients now that this doctor can see, right? I mean, obviously there's some things you're always going to have to go in. I can't like, here, virtually help me with my broken arm. No, I mean, I'm actually going to have to go in for things like that. But if I need somebody to just see me because I've got a cough or I've got a fever and I need a medication to take care of that, why not just have somebody FaceTime and scan me? Think about this doctor is now not just servicing a local community, he can service the whole state that he's licensed. And if he's licensed in other states, he can expand his practice.
That is.
And each person, the whole system was, I was putting my card in, you got your insurance, you plug it all in. It was all digital, all done, bada boom, everything came out, co-pays, it was all done. Just think about how everything is now shifted for this doctor. And he doesn't have to have all the liability of people coming to the office and other sicknesses and things like that. He made it safer for his staff. This is great. Car dealerships. I read somewhere that that car, with everything that's already been happening, even before the coronavirus, there's been a shift in how people don't like to go to the dealerships and be stuck there for hours. But because of the coronavirus, it has really accelerated the fact that people now want to only buy their cars online. Like, all I want to do is buy everything, and the last step is, before I actually agree and give the cash and you give the keys, is I do a test drive. Right? I want everything, all the paperwork and everything taken care of online. And so what the article I saw is that car dealerships that don't make this transition before the end of the year, they're going to be out of business, because nobody by the end of this year, with the way that people are changing and how things are, is people are not going to go to car dealerships anymore. They're just going to go online, find what they want, have it delivered to their house, take a test drive around their own neighborhood, and then, click like a PayPal kind of transaction. It's all done. Or, a DocuSign, loan documents, and it's all done, whatever it is.
I'm going to be honest. When I first saw those huge towers, those Carvana towers, it's like a car vending machine. I said, really? Who on earth is ever going to buy that? But they were primed for this. It's literally what's happening. I'm like, well, there's a lot of other issues that came along with buying cars at car dealerships. And just now with technology, it's all there.
Absolutely. Martial arts studios. So my boys are awesome, and they go to karate. And but with social distancing and it being considered not an essential business, but self-defense is essential. Anyway, I think I've said this before, anything that puts food on the table is an essential business, right? Because you got to be able to take care of yourself. But here's what's cool. This dojo put their whole program online. My family is now testing for their next belts, all online. They're following preset programs. There's some recorded videos. They also have live trainings, but we've had to basically purchase on Amazon and stuff, some bags and some equipment, but created our own little workout in our garage. And then the instructor comes in and watches you and tests you, and it's just a Skype type of video, but you do everything. And they have to condition push-ups, they do their training, their punches, their kicks. But I mean, now instead of just going to the local dojo that serves the east part of the valley, this is now global. I mean, people now can watch and be a part of this this martial art. I mean, maybe they're not the only one, but
it's huge though.
I mean, our broker was talking about how he was really wondering, because our broker also, he wears many hats, but marketing is a big thing for him. And he's like, I don't even know what's open anymore. Who's open, when they're open. You want to share what he was talking about that?
Well, it's just as far as like, there's just so much uncertainty as far as like the who and how to actually gain access to items in the marketplace. And so really nowadays, there's so many different opportunities to say order from grocery stores, order from restaurants, have it delivered, order from Amazon.
But I mean, shouldn't people be like, I mean, who's open and when's open? And do people have specials? I mean, this is the time for businesses to be putting.
Yeah, so that's
what I kicked off to you.
That's what I was trying to figure out, because that is a great thing. And bringing that fact up, there are so many businesses just around my house. And so there's restaurants, there's pizza places, literally in walking distance. There are grocery stores, there's auto shops, there are things that are still open, but we don't know they're open.
Right.
And so you have people that, could be just sitting around at the office but
at home. Everybody's at home.
It costs to put out some flyers, some door hangers. Everybody's at home. Most people, well, a lot of people are home. So, utilizing this time to print out some flyers, say, hey, we're open. Now, I've seen some signs, the little chalkboard sign on the side of the road, but when, 2/3 of the people aren't driving anymore, that doesn't do you any good. When they literally, that chalkboard sign is across the street from neighborhoods, and not a single person in that neighborhood has received an advertisement, a postcard, a flyer. I received one flyer from a pizza place that is literally 15 pizza places away. I would have to pass 15 pizza places to get here, but they're offering a free pizza.
That's what I'm saying.
They're offering free pizza.
And we're
no strings attached.
We're going to talk about that. Like, there's so many different ways that if you're in business, like, you got to be marketing right now.
Yeah.
Churches. So everybody, it was Easter just last weekend. Happy Easter. This is Easter Tuesday. But I mean, how many of you watched your service online? I mean, a lot of, I want to go to my local church and see my friends and family, and you want to give hugs, and then we also want to support our churches as we do giving, our tithes or our offerings. But now there are so many churches that they can now take everything online. And what happens when you move? I mean, what if your situation is now you have to move to find a work in another area, but you love that old church? Now, because everybody is innovated, you can now watch your old sermons, and or watch them
on
live.
demand.
Right.
Almost.
Yeah. Chiropractors. This is something I heard about, that because people, even though there was a whole shutdown, didn't mean that their back issues went away. And so now chiropractors who wanted to still make money are doing house calls. Remember when doctors used to make house calls? But here's what's great. As an added bonus, they actually can charge more money for making the house call than it was when people came in.
A lot of different things like that. Personal chefs, dietitians. So that's the other thing too. Restaurants, we're going to get into that in a minute, but
go ahead, take that off with restaurants.
Yeah, restaurants, there are so many opportunities. These businesses that, prior to this, I thought, well, I know that they're doing good in sales, these pre-packaged, shipped to your home and you cook it yourself businesses. Online order deliveries, Uber Eats. We're just seeing hundreds of % of increases.
So here's one of the things I'm seeing at restaurants. they have health care products like toilet paper, and they have paper towels, and they're selling sanitizers, and they're even selling wine and alcohol, like the things you would get at
Full
the grocery
packages.
store, because just little things like restaurants are kind of becoming little mini marts
Yes, to
at
be
the
able to
same.
stay open.
Right. And so not only can you go in and pick that up curbside, but you could send Uber Eats to pick this up. And so, I mean, I don't know that that's always going to stay the same once everything opens back up, but I mean, these are like, we're trying to help create synapses firing for you, because so many people have felt hopeless and they're just waiting for things to go back to the way they used to be. But
You bring
things
up
are
a good
never
thing
going to go
though,
back
with
to
packaging those deals together. This is, it's packaging. It's putting different items together to, provide more of a perceived value to somebody. So I have seen restaurants that are doing both, where you can cook it yourself, or they will cook it and you can pick it up, or they're packaging it together like some of those online order systems where you can get the raw materials to take home and cook. And it also has a bottle of wine, like you were saying, it has a dessert, and they can pick it up early in the day when it's not crazy, and then take it home and then cook it when they're ready, or buy 3 or 4 at one time. Since folks are not wanting to go out constantly, they are able to package up, a couple's days worth. And I've seen that from very few restaurants, but the ones that have, they're busy. The parking lots are busy.
And I mean, for anybody who's out of work or you lost your job because maybe you or the business that you worked for failed to innovate, um, take heart. There is so much work out there. I have heard now that there is an unlimited right now. This is what I've heard, and I saw a news report on. There's an unlimited demand for truck drivers.
Oh, I
So
believe it.
just local, which doesn't require that much training, or even over the road where you got to learn, go to like and they've shortened it down to like a 30-day crash course on how to learn how to operate the big rig. Now you'll probably
Crash course.
oh no, maybe not a crash course, but you're going to have a training driver with you for I think a few months till they make sure like that you get trained, and then you're automatically into a job that pays $45,000 a year.
Think about that right there. You're already a truck driver. You could now get paid more to be an instructor.
Right now, so
You could transition within
existing truck drivers, because there's so many people that are trying to look for this, because this is a there's a skill set that you need to learn. But I mean, this is something that anybody, whatever your previous skill set was, you can now pick this up, because I mean, yeah, I mean, operating an 18-wheeler has got to have you got to learn how to do everything and work all the little buttons and switches and drive this huge thing. But once you learn that skill set, right, you can now, I mean, that's just one thing, but I mean, Amazon is hiring, UPS, Walgreens, Walmart.
We have a new client that's just started 2 weeks ago. He started in the midst of all this, and his wife had just gotten laid off, but he works for UPS, and he just hit retirement age of UPS. But he was kind of thinking that, well, there's no better time to start my business now, because all these other things I can get my wife to work on, and she could start working on the tasks of building business credit. But at the same time, he said to the UPS and Amazon, speaking with all folks of different likes that are working in the logistics, it's like Christmas time. Like the amount of packages, the amount of deliveries, the amount of shipments. Amazon alone, I was speaking with an Amazon driver who's in the process of wanting to start his business. He said that normally they had about 80 to 90 packages on their route that they had to deliver in a day. It is now, each day they're looking at delivering 130 in the same time frame. So just the demand is through the roof, but then that creates a chain reaction.
So I agree with everything you're saying, and our goal here is to really encourage you, and we want to inspire you and give you hope that, I mean, if you're looking for work immediately, going into one of these jobs, if you already have a business, how do you innovate? Start marketing right now. Let's dive into, we're talking about a plan for relaunch. Maybe it's time for you to reinvent yourself. Everybody, if you don't already have a business, should start a business. I mean, that is the number one thing that needs to happen. Now, plan for relaunch. We need a new strategy, new marketing materials, new audiences, and new messaging. This is just very clear with everything that's been out there. I mean, think about how like Domino's Pizza. I mean, think about how successful they've been able to weather this. I mean, they were already built for it. But Domino's didn't always used to be set up. They weren't always online ordering,
Mm,
and
that's right.
they only used to just do pizza. Now they're into several other products and things like that. So, I mean, planning for this relaunch, when should it happen? When do you dig the well, as
Well,
you always say?
before you're thirsty. So as of right now, you can't dig fast enough.
Right. So what is the new strategy? Well, the new strategy is looking at what the surveying the land. And so we're seeing that, well, people have been staying at home and some people are getting used to it. I don't know that everybody's going to want to rush back out when things open. And some people found out they were scared about homeschooling their kids, and some people have found out that they really like this extra time with their family. And other people are like, no, I'm ready to go back.
I was pondering homeschooling. Now it's going back. No, that's what's great though, is it gives opportunities to grow.
Absolutely. But so many people have learned so many different things. People are reading new books, they're picking up new skills.
Mm.
They've been, and so all these things are happening, but people have gotten used to now staying at home. And so they've been looking for ways for services to come to them. And so,
I don't think a lot of people are going to want to go back.
how many businesses have found out that they can operate more efficiently with their workers at home without having to pay the overhead costs for a big building that they used to be, where they used to house their employees?
Well, right. I mean, right here, we're sitting in, this is what, 1,400 square feet. We
This
got
is-
another one over there that's 800 square feet, and nobody's there. We got, these are empty facilities.
These classrooms used to have 20 to 40 people a week
Yeah,
that would be in here. Now they're just empty.
but it's online. So the cost of this versus, a Zoom webinar or
Mhm.
a Facebook Live or YouTube Live is what? Minimal.
Compared to the overhead for
Yeah,
this place.
for the overhead of offices. It's nuts.
Absolutely. So, and then looking for those new audiences. I mean, you used to, if you had your market in one area of town, like your restaurant or the pizza place you were talking about, well, you were kind of going to serve your little area and somebody who lived over there would go to that pizza place. But now, if you learn how to push, like you were saying, they put that flyer out there for that free pizza, you'll go all the way to get to them to get that. New messaging. New messaging is dealing with where people are at right now. So you might have seen commercials even, or you look back at even shows that were filmed before all of this happened, and there was a certain way we talked about things. And now it's like, are you social distancing? Like there's a new vernacular that has come up, and learning how to talk to people where they're at and address the concerns that people have. Like, is my job going to still be here? I mean, people used to, like, even business owners, many business owners that we've been telling you time and time again, you must get business credit. Get $150,000 in lines of credit. How many businesses plan to fail? Everybody, we were in a situation where everybody felt invincible, and now people are like, oh no. And like, if I had started back when we first talked to the wise guys in ties, I could have $150,000 in lines of credit. $150,000 in lines of credit can really help you weather about any storm that comes up.
Pretty much, yeah, absolutely. I know there's a lot of folks that we've been doing some interviews these weeks with the folks who have been building business credit, and now they're in a position where, well, I got some resources. I'm just waiting now how to replan, reprioritize, how to re-strategize for executing moving forward.
And that kind of leads right into what we're talking about here. When we talk about growing new audience of influencers, it's really, I mean, more generally what you're talking about is networking. If you start to change look at your product line, maybe your product line maybe you're not even online, maybe you're not even doing any online marketing, or you don't have a way to receive payment, or you haven't even started your business yet. There's so many different businesses that you're ready to plug into. I mean, Amazon needs so many different local supplies.
Well, you bring up a very good thing. Local supplies. That's a big shift because, prior I dabbled a little bit in drop shipping and done some ordering from China, selling on eBay, different things like that.
You were the one.
You can't buy. I mean, the backlog of this is tremendous. New tariffs have been imposed, so the prices have gone up. You can't get things right now expedited And so the back weight on items on Amazon now, if you're able to fulfill that, right now there's a production in place that, they're offering medical supplies and things like that, but factories in America that have been producing, say, custom vehicle parts. I know a guy who he fabricates off-road vehicle equipment. He's looking at, crafting, like building lights for for like YouTube videos and for Facebooks, the ring lights and things like that. He's taking the lights that he used to build for off-road vehicles, and now he's adapting them to cell phone stands and selling them as custom cell phone stands. And it's been blowing up. Clothing stores. I saw this. There's a few girls I know that sell custom clothing lines. They've now done custom like face masks, and they're selling out as fast as they can make them. So it's the adapting part.
Right. And so once you adapt, then it's about networking with other people, because you could create a whole bunch of masks, but if you don't have anybody to sell it to,
Yeah.
right, and you're not allowed to go anywhere, right? So meeting and connecting with different influencers. So and we've talked about this many times, about what's one of the easiest ways to start up a business is a referral business. If you can find somebody who has stuff and somebody who doesn't have that stuff, but they want it, getting that connection made is a pathway to making a referral business where you can make a lot of money. But if this is how do you do that? Well, you put yourself out there and you start joining groups. How many different meetups and online groups and different things can you be a part of? Facebook groups. And you look at the posts and you see what's going on and what people need and what people have, and there's all these kind of things that are going on. But how many people are not technically literate? I mean, I know my folks aren't. I know there are a lot of folks we work with where we have a lot of clients that we have to help them because they're not part of the 21st century yet. And so learning that these people, even those people, they have things, but they don't know how to plug in and tell anybody because they don't know how to use social media. So when you start reaching out to your community online and on your phone and reaching out, that's where you start hearing about things and you start trying to connect all the dots.
Solving the problems.
Exactly.
I mean, I just got a bunch of great ideas just while you're talking. Just, for the fact of that, there's people out there that need help getting connected. Social media marketing and management is now, everybody that was starting to build towards that's going to skyrocket. Every single business needs assistance with that now. I mean, that's something we were discussing. We're like, hey, we need to look at filmers and, social media production. Like, there's new demands.
Absolutely. In fact, if you're in business right now, what are your products? What are your services? I mean, let's say you used to cut hair. It's time to expand your line. Maybe it's time for you to come out with your own shaving cream or your own soap. I mean, anybody can look up a recipe online and start making your own homemade soap, right? And there's all kinds of things, shaving butter. I mean, there's lotions and potions, essential oils. There's so many different ways where you can start to expand your services and reach out. Make sure you're setting up a merchant services provider if you don't already have one, so that you can process payments. But it's time to look at what can you do? How can you adapt? And as you can offer things online, shipping, or maybe like the cupcake truck, why can't we have maybe, I don't know, you've got to check your state codes and there's licensing, but what about beard trimming and haircut truck?
Stacking together, taking two concepts, putting them together.
Eat a cupcake while you get your haircut. I like that. All right, start with marketing now with a new message. That goes back to the pizza place you were talking about. I mean, right now, who's open? Everybody is eager to get somebody to start shopping in the store. So right now, literally everywhere, there are so many great deals, but how do you know about it? I mean, gas is the cheapest it's ever been right now. There's great deals online at different stores. If you're in business and you want to get auto vehicle financing, some of the greatest rates we've seen. wraps, sometimes people buy a truck or a van and then they paint it. There's great deals out there for everybody. This is, crisis. Crisis also, the other side of that is opportunity. Always is opportunity. But if you have a scarcity mindset and you're scared and you panic, the crisis causes you to shrink inward and to put that worry and fear and turn it inward, and you begin to fall into despair. And we don't want anybody to go there, because that's a dangerous place to be. People think the coronavirus kills, poverty kills, right? Loneliness, separation kills. We want to help you have an abundance mindset and think of new ways to build and grow. Remember the Marine mantra: improvise, adapt, overcome, right? These are the things, or become the blue poopy bird feet thing and learn how to fish. Whatever that was called.
Things have officially changed, and they are not going back exactly the way they were. So it's this is a new opportunity. Everybody is on pause. This is not, I refuse to take part in a recession.
Me too.
Yeah, this is everybody's on pause. So this is, nobody has an upper hand right now, really. And that's what's so cool, is whoever's ready to get going, whoever's moving forward, whoever's ready to take action.
But think about when they do start opening things back up, like say you're going to a baseball game or the movies, and say the theater is, maybe they take out seats in their distance or something, but you go in and you're, that seat you wanted, or you don't want somebody to sit next to you, so somebody comes in and you start going, like everybody's now going to use this coronavirus to their advantage in different ways.
Well, see, I didn't even think about that, but now, there's always opportunity.
Think about the airplane. Oh no, I don't want that person to sit next to me, so now I'm going to start coughing a lot, and then now you get a whole row to yourself.
Start creating some T-shirts, like we survived, the coronavirus or something like that,
So. Absolutely. So new value propositions like the free pizza. First of all, you got to put a message out there, and back to that message. When you start with new messaging, you got to meet people where they're at. Like, hey, come down to this one-time sale. Things aren't going to be able to be sold the way that they used to, because people have adapted and shifted. And when they open the economy up, it's not like everyone has a whole bunch of money to run out and go start buying things. So if you've got to reach out to people, you got to let them know you're there. And then the next step is to show them that you have a new value proposition. A free pizza, you're going to offer something extra special that makes people like, yes, this is a value that'll help me. This is what I need. Now, you got to develop your recession plan, right? This is kind of what we're ending on, because is a recession coming?
Yeah, in some aspects.
What
is a recession?
Some people think that technically it's when you go when the
GDP
falls 20%. That's already happened. But these are extraordinary times. Some people think we're going to have this V curve and we're going to come right back out of it. But if we were all unison and held hands and locked out, and they opened the economy and we all rush back out to work and we all go back to baseball games and movie theaters and restaurants, then I think there would be a V curve on that. But people now are scared that if somebody does cough, they're going to die. So I think that there's going to be some trepidation. And so some people are going to go back to things as normal. Other people aren't. And so, like we talked about, there's going to be these two countercultures. But your recession plan is you need to start thinking about. We do this all the time. Well, not all the time, but we do this about twice a year. We do a SWOT analysis where we look at our strengths, our weaknesses. We look at opportunities and threats. Well, your recession plan is definitely in that threats. What could happen this year or over the next 6 months that will throw us off, or that we need to be prepared for? I mean, we didn't actually, when we did our SWOT analysis in January, prepare for the entire economy to shut down. You remember? I think that was an oversight actually on your part.
Yeah, it was right there. Just, I was so close too. In beginning of January, I was like thinking that, I was like, Is there a possibility of this all gonna crash right now?
So folks, right now, Mr. Fleming and I, we have our business, Wise Guys and Ties, which is dedicated to helping people start, build, and grow their business. We help people get access to funds, all kinds of funds, whether you've got revenue-based lending, collateral-based, we talk about credit-based. Most of what we do is credit-based. We also help people implement a credit banking strategy to eliminate and reduce their payments. And as we've worked with a lot of our clients, some people have credit repair challenges, and we help people with that as well. So we've expanded our product line. We've moved from helping people locally to we've traveled the country and done seminars to now we virtually put information out here on the internet for you. And all of this came because where we were at before we started this company is we were in that last recession and we were like, what are we going to do? My job went away, your job went away, and we were like, it's time to reinvent ourselves. And so we came up with a way of how do we position ourselves in a business where we can, and we both agreed on real estate because real estate works regardless of whether you're in a recession or not, if you make the appropriate innovations like we've been talking about here. So, but real estate might not be for you, but every business, as we tried to show you a list of different businesses, can innovate, they can adapt, they can change, and they can prepare for the new norm that's coming. So
Absolutely.
you're got to come up with a strategy. What are you passionate about? What do you want to do? This is not the time to let the fact that the country shut down mean your dreams are shut down. No, your dreams are shut down. You can break free of this. Again, improvise, adapt, overcome. So content and contacts and committees. Look, the content is right here. Keep tuning into us each and every week. We're putting out stuff. Right now, we put out stuff 3 times a week. We're going to be upping that next month to, or in the weeks to come, to putting a lot more content out there. In fact, big news. Whoa, hey, this Friday, tell them what's happening this Friday.
Oh boy, you can't miss this. 7 p.m. Pacific Daylight Time. This Friday, the 17th. This is going to be the whole foundational how to build and get out of this situation, how to use this opportunity to really skyrocket your dreams.
How to start,
How to
build, grow. So if you already have a business, how to make it even more profitable, how to start a business and become profitable. Like we're just going to give.
I mean, are there some other benefits too? We got some bonuses.
We're going to give them the whole game plan. We're going to show you how to go out and get some credit lines that you can actually go out and get right now. And we might even throw in some few surprises, giveaways that are going to be live, only for our live folks. The information, we'll probably keep it out there because it's going to be great, solid information. But the only way to get access to maybe a free iPad or something like that is to actually be online. And so put it on your calendars, folks. This Friday, the 17th at 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, we're going to be bringing to you the entrepreneur right here. In fact, we're going to go over all of this, right? Business credit, the entrepreneur's playbook for building business credit, starting, building, growing, direct funding, finding all the capital that you need to thrive and grow and succeed. We're super excited. It's going to be 2 hours. So that's going to take some time. Set that time aside. For those of you on the East Coast, I know that's late at night, but you're already sequestered anyway. You're not going anywhere. So you need to be there. This is going to be the plan, right? This is going to be where you're now going to know, yes, we have the plan. We know what to do. And you're going to feel like, oh, the uncertainty will melt away. Because the Bible says for a lack of vision, tune in this Friday night to get that vision. And then you will be set up to success, to soar on wings like eagles. I'm so excited to meet with you guys tonight. So I want to thank you for having us. We went way over our time, but we had such a good time. We want you to feel encouraged and we want you to feel empowered to take your life and your finances into your own hands. Any final thoughts before we close out?
Folks, do not trouble yourself with what's happening, but look at it as an opportunity. You know, this is an opportunity, and this is not a half-empty glass. glass is refillable. And the question is, if you're going to step up to refill it, don't do what many will and let themselves be overcome with fear and pain, but yet be that light that they need to see, and you can show them that, hey, I'm overcoming this and you can too. So be that change that you want to see.
Amen to that. Now, if you want to contact us and get a hold of us, call 888-524-9273 to set up a free 30-minute consultation. You can email us, our information's there on screen, or better yet, go to our website where we've got a ton of information that'll help you learn more about us and more about business credit, business finance, and everything that you need. Folks, let not your heart be troubled. We are going to get through this. Be safe out there, and we will catch you. We want to see all of you.
Yes, Friday.
This Friday, April 17th, 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. I want to say, for Ray Fleming and myself, good night and God bless.